Hey everyone. So in this video I'm going to be doing a guide on Gaia, and as you guys know that Gaia got some really good buffs in the last patch, and I believe Gaia has the potential to be actually one of the better gods in the game now, maybe even S tier. It feels that way. So I'm going to be going over not only the initial build, but I'm going to be doing the follow through as well, and we're going to go through everything that we can about Gaia. So starting off, let's just look at her bonuses. She starts with 2 hero citizens, and the cost of promoting them are cheaper at 25%. Is the cost of promoting them very valuable? For me, not so much, but the fact that she starts with 2 hero citizens adds a lot of power to her early build order. The economic guild and its technologies are cheaper by 40%. So this is one of the things that got buffed. This is going to allow for a really strong opener, and I'm going to show you guys that in a second. So the economic buildings like town centers, manors, guilds, and markets, they grow lush, and lush allows you to heal your units on them. There's also an upgrade which is channels, which is going to allow you to traverse the lush 15% faster, which is really good. It's kind of like Zerg if any of you played StarCraft 2. But you got to be careful with this upgrade because it is in the town center and it takes 40 seconds to make. So I would suggest getting this a little bit later on into the game. Gaia's special god power is Gaia Forest. So this one can be used in a multitude of different ways. Initially, we want to use it right beside your town center to have as much wood as we can because it allows your villagers to gather wood faster. But later on, we can create artificial choke points with this, and there's a lot of cool stuff that you can do. So I'm going to talk about that a little bit later. So yeah, let's just get right into it. Alright everyone, so this is a very straightforward build. Nothing fancy, nothing crazy, but you get an amazing opener with it. So first thing you do, one villager goes to food, one villager goes to the economic guild, and from there on out, once he's finished constructing this building, he goes back onto food. So you're going to have 2 to food to start. With the economic guild, get your pickaxe first, and after that you would want to get your hand axe. The first villager that comes out of your town center goes straight to gold, and the one that comes out next is going to go straight to wood. Now, massive tip that I can give you guys, make sure that this Gaia forest that you plant, the special of Gaia, put it close to your gold mine. It's going to be necessary to enact this build in a successful way. Okay, so put this close to your gold mine. The remaining villagers are all going to go straight to food. Okay, so we're just going to pump these through. And you can see that already, like, it's such a straightforward, such an easy opener. I highly recommend beginners play the Civ now. Another thing that you guys want to be doing is ensure that your oracles are moving around the map, getting as much scouting information as possible. As soon as they get to their full line of sight, you want to move them and go to the next spot. Okay, so now the thing that's important is, what I like to do is I like to put 4 villagers on hunt, and then I like to branch out and put the remaining villagers that come out onto chicken. You don't want to have too many on one spot because it's going to run out and then you're going to have a transitionary period. So split them up, put 2 here, and then put like 4 here. Another thing to keep in mind, and you're going to see very shortly, is as soon as you get 150 gold, you're going to take this gold villager and you're going to put him on wood. This is the reason why we put the forest right next to the gold mine, so you can just jump right onto wood. As soon as you guys have 150 wood and 150 gold, you're going to build that temple. So now, just bear in mind that while all of this is going on, you have hand axe and you have pickaxe, so your villagers are already getting that benefit. On top of that, Gaia villagers start with a citizen hero, which gathers food, which gathers all resources faster. If you see 1.65 a second, whereas a regular villager is 1.5 a second. So all of these factors are already boosting up your economy substantially, right? So now look, I started, as soon as the temple was finished, I stopped making villagers and I advanced. I'm advancing with Oceanus here. I'm going to talk about the different openers soon, but I started advancing before 3 minutes, which is really, really fast. Not a lot of civilizations can do this, and Gaia is not only doing this so fast, but Gaia is doing this with all of her economic upgrades. Okay, so the first Gaia forest, I like to use it right beside the gold mine so you can transition between the 2 resources. The second Gaia forest, you can use it in a multitude of different ways. In this instance, I used it to close off this choke point, so no raiders can come through this little opening that I made here. If a raider wants to come, he has to come all around like this. Okay, so this is a handy little tool to have. Now when you're advancing, I put 3 on wood and I put 2 on gold. Okay, and then I put I keep 4 on food, so there's 2 on hunt and there's 2 on
Yep,
chicken.
Jules.
Okay. So now let's talk about the follow through. What do you want to do? And the reason I didn't put the follow through in the previous videos is because you got to be careful with the follow through. It's all dependent on your matchup. It's all dependent on what you scout, what you see. You can't just do one strategy and that's going to work every game. It's going to be different. So let's talk about what can be different. If you're playing versus a god that has resources in an open in an area which you can harass, like for example, this gold mine is forward, you can probably harass it. Gaia versus Odin, in some matchups, sometimes you can actually be the one to put pressure on your opponent as well, especially with such a robust early economy. So I can actually pressure the opponent early, but I want to show you guys a different strategy. Now I advanced at 4 minutes into the game. I'm going to open up with my barracks. The reason I open up with the barracks is because the Murmillo can counter almost all early game harassment. He's good. Remember, I did a tier list on infantry. I put him in the S tier for a reason. He's a very, very well-rounded unit. Make him in the early game, and he's going to be able to defend most of your opponent's early game harass. In this instant, I know I'm playing versus Odin. So Odin can make Valkyries, and that Valkyrie can come into my base and start doing harassment. That's why I have a Caladria, and I'm going to have a Murmillo very shortly to be able to defend against early game harassment. Now, note that Gaia's bonus is economic upgrades, so I am just going ham on economic upgrades. I'm getting shaft mine. I already got my husbandry. Be careful with this. If you know that you're going to be rushed, if you're going to be attacked very early, and you can't afford these upgrades, you'd rather want to spend this on military units. So instead of this shaft mine, if I was being pressured right now, I would get a counteraxe and I would make Terma, or I'd make Caraballista. Terma, I think, are better in this scenario, but you want to be careful. Get this when you think that times are good, you're not being pressed on, you're not being harassed. Then you get your shaft mine, then you do whatnot. Now also be careful. You don't want to rush too fast to their second hunt. First, have a little understanding of what's going on. You are being a little bit greedy in this instance where you're getting all your economic upgrades. So be a little bit, do your due diligence before you move on to your hunt. Do a little bit of scouting. Now here I'm preparing for a Valkyrie, which in normal games would come. But nothing came here, so now I'm going to start looking at, hey, what is my opponent doing? What I should be doing in this instance is sending one Caladria to his base and to scout him with it. This is an excellent scouting unit. I would suggest you definitely use this unit to scout. Okay, so now I don't think that he's coming to me, so I'm going to go to him. I'm going to see what's going on. Now I don't need to defend. Everything's going kind of slow. Okay, I see he's building units. He has a Great Hawk coming, and he has a Rax coming. I don't have enough to deal with this right now. I'm going to pull back. I'm going to plant down a counter Rax, and I'm going to start putting in Terma. The fact that I saw this barracks means, this longhouse rather, means that throwing axemen could potentially be on the way. Throwing axemen are going to do well versus my Murmillo. I also saw that he had an Einherjar, or sorry, he has a myth unit. So I'm going to heroize my 2 Murmillo, and I'm going to prepare for that myth unit. Okay, so I'm just going to keep on putting the pressure on him, keep my units in a position to scout him. If I need to make a retreat, I can, because this Caladria have line of sight. They're scouting a little bit forward ahead of my army, so I know if I need to run. I can't beat that army, I run. But this is something you're going to just keep on rinse and repeating, right? You're going to do this over and over again. To see when, as soon as he's vulnerable, you pounce on him. If he's not vulnerable, you go back. You go back. If you don't have a strong enough army, you throw down another Rax. And I'm going to throw down another Rax. I'm going to pump up some more army. Now I know his army's over here, so I feel safe and obligated to go into this hunt over here. Now I'm in a position to take the hunt. When you feel safe, take it. Okay, every game is different. It's situational, so by all means, you're going to have to assess that for yourself. Look, I scouted him. The same thing I was doing the last 2 times, but this time I noticed his army was not in a good formation. And I can easily pick off 2 free throwing axemen. So I took the throwing axemen, I killed them, and I ran. I only got 1 in that instance, but it's still good. I got about 80 or 90 resources of free. It's pretty much free resources at that point. Okay, so I did a little bit of damage. I went back. Always put a manor if you're going to be hunting, because you never know, he can still raid you with some raiding cavalry, right? Just have a manor. As you guys know, in the last patch, the manor got buffed. It's 800 resources now, so even better. I think it was 500 in the before that. So once again, rinse and repeat. Just keep on going forward. See if you can do any damage. And I want to point out that With Oceanus, you can get Bite of the Shark. It's a really good upgrade to get. So I did that here. I got my medium Murmillo. I got my Bite of the Shark. I looked at his army. I judged it. I said, okay, I think I can take it. So I took his army. I threw down my Carnivore right in between all of his units, and I went for it. And I thought that I can definitely take this. You want to make sure that your Terma are attacking his Throwing Axemen. And then if they're not attacking, if it's no Throwing Axemen left, attack the unit with the lowest amount of Pierce armor. Okay, so I won the fight here, and the game was essentially over. That's the follow through. That's one follow through. Bear in mind that every game is different. You can't just use this in every game. Sometimes you're going to have to think a little bit out of the box. Sometimes you can't pressure your opponent. So what do? You can sit in your base, you can defend, get your economic upgrades, and then you can go to H3. Sometimes you can pressure him, don't get any economic upgrades, and just, try to attack as much as you possibly can. Sometimes it's a little bit passive, like nothing's happening, it's a little bit of army, but not that much. Then I would do something like what I did here, got my economic upgrades, and I still had enough units to pressure him later on. Okay, so every game is different. You have to assess it differently, but this is just one follow through. Now it's important to actually see the tech options for Gaia, and I think Gaia has some okay ones. Let's start with H2. Now H2 you have Leto, and you have Oceanus. Oceanus gives you a Carnivora. Leto gives you Spider Layer. Which one do I think is better? I think it's hands down the Carnivora. The Spider Layer is good. The recharge time it got buffed, and it's not that expensive to recast it. The only issue is the only value you're going to get on this is if the enemy's units cross the path of the Spider Layer, which might not always be the case. Whereas a Carnivora, you can plant it down anywhere on the map. You can make the most use of it. So you can use this on, if you're going to be offensive. This one you have to kind of use a little bit defensive. You could use it offensive, like if your opponent is going to be, that there's going to be a fight at the second gold mine, or if you want to put in the middle of the map, because he's definitely going to have to traverse the middle of the map, right? You could use this offensively too, but I still prefer Carnivora. But don't count this out. Everyone should try different options. It's not like I have it's not like I have all the information. It's not like I'm all knowing. I could be wrong as well, and we could find out that Leto is way better than Oceanus in the future, right? So try it out. Think for yourself. Don't always go based on what I'm saying or what the pros are saying. In terms of the myth units, the Automaton is pretty good. I like it, but I find the Caladria is better. And the reason why I like the Caladria is because, well, firstly, it allows me a very good option to scout. You can see that with Atlantean, you don't have the best options in terms of scouting. Oracles can kind of get hunted down, and your units are not that fast. Like a Terma is 5.5 speed, I believe, but it's not the fastest unit in the game, right? Caladrias are great. You can fly, hover over your enemy, and get an exact amount of information as to what he's doing. That's why I like the Caladria. The Automaton is very cheap. It's 6 favor, 90 gold. It's not bad at all. So both of these are good options, but I still prefer the Caladria. Servant, if you're going water, I mean, I barely see these things used. I think it's okay. This is one of the better reasons to go. This is an upgrade for the Automaton, which is great. But this is one of the better reasons to go Leto, which is you get a reduction in Pierce. You get an increase in your Pierce armor for human soldiers by 15%, which is pretty good. So this is something that's going to help you in the mid to the late game. One of the good reasons for going Leto. And it also buffs your oracles, so you get more line of sight, and as a result, you get more favor, right? So that's Leto's kit. Now, one of the best reasons for going Oceanus is I told you guys that, in my opinion, Murmillo are an S tier unit. And anytime you can get an upgrade to an S tier unit, they become even better. And that's what this is. Bite of the Shark gives an upgrade to your Murmillo, and they become even better. So this one just adds some divine damage over time, making your Murmillo even better. Catapultes are actually really good too with this upgrade. It increases their speed and their damage. Another great upgrade. And lastly, Frontline Heroics. This reduces the cost of infantry heroizing. So excellent upgrade. You can use this all throughout the game. Especially in the late game, you're going to be heroizing your destroyers, your fanatics, your Murmillo. It's going to be a lot cheaper doing it with this. Overall, which one do I choose? I think Oceanus. But I'm still going to play with Leto. I'm going I'm gonna try her out as well. I'm not just gonna give up, right? So, anyways, next options are Thea and you have Rhea. So which one do I think is better? I think this is situational, but for the most part, I think Thea is better. Thea also got buffed, so the tree actually gives you, I believe, two free dryads each time you cast it, and you can cast these trees simultaneously, so you get two. So that means you get 600 resources right off the bat just by casting this. So you get four free myth units. Then the bird is awesome as well. Once you get a mass of these, they can really wreak havoc on the enemy. It's a great unit. It's a little bit expensive in terms of favor, but it is what it is. Then you have the Dryad, which costs wood, which is coming out of these trees. The fact that it costs wood is one of its biggest pluses. You got Prophetic Sight, which increases the Oracle gather rate as well, and I believe it gives you yeah, so you can actually reveal your enemy's actions with this tech. Meaning, if you have this near your opponent's fortress, you can see what he's building. And now, the hands down, the best reason to go Thea at the moment is because of Poseidon's Secret, and it's because of Lance of Stone. Poseidon's Secret makes your Contarius faster, and it makes them cheaper. Fun fact, and there's a bug I think at the moment, which my Twitch chat was telling me yesterday, that they're actually 30% cheaper with this upgrade, not just 15%. But in any case, this is an amazing upgrade. This is an amazing upgrade. So you have an S tier, in my opinion, an S tier cavalry unit getting these buffs makes them a lot better. Okay, this is a water myth unit upgrade. It is what it is. It's nothing insane. You might want to use this in like big team games, or if you're playing on like Mediterranean or something, but essentially it's not that good. It's not that useful, rather. Now, the cool thing about Thea is you get Trader. So like if you know your opponent has, let's say your opponent is Freyr and he's building a lot of rock giants, this is really cool because you can just steal a couple of his rock giants and you can swing the entire fight into your favor. This is one of the pluses for Rhea. The Behemoth, not bad as well. You can actually do a nice timing push with the Behemoths early on, and it's a good unit overall. You get a little bit more gather rate in terms of favor with the Horns of Consecration. And so basically just add some favor to your town centers. This improves the armor of your Arcus and your Terma. Overall, I think it's a good upgrade. It's pretty cheap as well. This is one of the best upgrades from Rhea. It makes all of your favor, all of the technologies cost no favor. And everything that you purchased up to date, you're going to get a refund on, I believe. So yeah, this one is a great upgrade. And this is another water upgrade, which is just going to heal up your ships when they're near a dock, I believe. Okay, I wonder if this is oh yeah, it's only naval units. Now for Mythic, you have the option between I don't know how to say it properly, this one and Atlas. Okay, which one do I choose? I think Atlas is better. I think Implode is better than Tartarus Gate right now. Tartarian Gate. I think Tartarian Gate is a little weak at the moment. It's not as good as the other Age 4 God Powers, but it's still not bad. It's still okay, but I think Implode is way better. And Implode got a little bit of a buff too, I think, at the moment. So, hands down, in terms of God Powers, I take Implode over Tartarus Gate. Now, in terms of the myth units, this guy is kind of under... what's the word? He's really good, but people don't abuse him that much yet. He has a lot of HP. I think he has 800 HP. He's so hard to kill. Like, he has so much HP. I haven't really played around too much with Lampades, but they got buffed as well, so they could definitely be good. This upgrade right here allows you to transform enemy units into chickens, which is kind of cool and fun at the same time. And this one is just going to add some extra, it's going to give a bonus to the Argus, which is the myth unit right here. So these are some good, I mean, they're okay myth units. There's a lot of better ones in Age 4, but they're not too bad. I think the Argus is pretty cool. It's a good meat shield for, at least in my games, I thought it was pretty good. Then you have, these are the reasons why I would go Atlas. Well, Titan Shield, which buffs your destroyers, gives them more pierce armor, right? And then this one here buffs your fanatics, which makes them even more powerful than they are. And in my opinion, fanatics are an S tier infantry unit. The destroyer is pretty good as well. So this is definitely handy when it comes to Mythic Age. And then for Here you get Mythic Rejuvenation, which increases your regeneration rate on myth units, which is okay, I guess. Like, I guess it's good when you're going a lot of birds and you have this, so you can keep them alive and you just keep on massing them. And then you also have this one, which increases the range attack of fire and increases the myth unit speed. So I guess if you're spamming a lot of myth units, these could come in handy. But imagine if you go Caladria, then you don't need to get this upgrade because this can heal your myth units, right? This one is still cool to have, but overall, which one would I choose? I would definitely choose Atlas here. I would go Oceanus, I would go Thea, sometimes I'd go Rhea, and then I would go straight into Atlas. That's what I'm thinking at the moment, but things can change. Alright guys, so that was my guide for Gaia. I'm going to be playing a lot of Gaia in the coming days and getting a good feel for her. I think she has a lot of potential. She can definitely be up there with one of the top gods right now. She got a really nice buff. So I think you guys will enjoy playing her right now. I think she's in a good spot. Let me know in the comments if you guys have anything you want to add or anything that I missed. Yeah, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you for watching. Take care. Bye.